Hi everyone, welcome to the channel where we are going to be playing Cities Skylines 2. Brand new release as of beginning of this week. Now, this is my third attempt at recording this video because there's been many issues plagued with this game, and I've particularly struggled with crashes and just unable to save games, so hopefully this time it works. And on this channel we're going to be starting as almost as a beginner. So Cities Skylines 1 I've played. I only ever used one map, never had any of the expansions, and never really grew a city bigger than 50,000. But it was a great game, it was good fun to build. I sort of lost interest due to other games, so this one's going to be a bit more in-depth, and by doing this channel I'm hoping to get more immersed into the game, learn as we go. Any issues that come up that we can't solve that are either part of the game or lack of knowledge, we'll deal with them and it will make for some fun videos. So let's get started. Now, I did do one of the tutorials on this game just to see what's what, how it works, rather than recording that because that's pretty boring. And upon looking at the maps they give, I think the best option is going for Great Highlands. It offers a mixture of water and land, whereas the others do look a bit challenging, especially this archipelago haven. That looks like a lot of bridges and a lot of complex building to do. So I think for this initial series we're going to stick to Great Highlands. It has European theme, 41% buildable area, natural resources look good, it looks like there's a good balance between water and land, so we'll go ahead with that and see how we get on. Now, one thing I don't remember from Cities Skylines 1 is having a name generator. That might be my lack of knowledge, or they might have had it, but nevertheless this is a great addition, because if you're like me and you struggle to think of names, then this really helps, although some of them are a bit strange. So we'll use this name generator for this map just as a starter map and see what we get. Oakdale's pretty good name for a city, pretty boring and plain, but so we'll go for a different one, try and get something a bit more unique. Merton, not a fan of that. Old Monroe, that sounds like something you name the old drunk that comes to the bar. Lake Valley, not so keen on that. Eastgate, not so keen on that. Jefferson, that's a very American name, and as we're going for a European theme, I think we'll skip that. Same with Montgomery. Winnie, I no idea where that's even come from. Allen, again, these all sound like people's names, they might not be spelt the same. Winchelsea, that's a very odd name, but obviously I think that's a mixture between Winchester and Chelsea, which works, so we'll go for that. We'll leave the theme as European, left-hand traffic, we'll just leave that as it is, which I'm assuming that means, yeah, we've got right-handed traffic. Natural disasters, I never played with these in Skylines 1, but on Skylines 2, we're going to leave it on. Unlock all and unlimited money, it's not necessary. If you're going to play the game with those, then there's no point really, unless you're trying to build like a New York City replica and you don't need to go through advanced through the game. But yeah, we're going to leave those off. Tutorials we don't need, and let's get started. And here we are on the map. So first thing I'm going to do is pause the game. I don't see the point in advancing time when we haven't built anything, it's not necessary. And we'll just have a little look at the map here. So as you can see, we've got quite, I don't know these lines here, I don't know if this becomes unlockable at some stage. If it does, that's going to be a very big map. However, we've got a good balance here of mountains, water and flat land, so we should be good. And we have this one square tile to start with. Now the one thing that I used to struggle with on this game is the entrance road to the city. For me, this always used to be the worst point of traffic, and obviously when you start the game you build out and it becomes very congested. By the time you've built in this small area, it then becomes too complex to remove this road and add new ones in, and this area becomes just too busy and there's traffic everywhere. So I'm going to try and avoid that in this series, but we'll see how we go. I don't know how traffic works on this game. I don't know the flows of the roundabouts and the different lanes we can have. So first things first, I want to join this road at the top with the entrance road to the city. I don't remember having these on Skylines 1, but I think it's a good addition to have 2 points of access to the tile. So we'll go ahead and select the road tool, and I've already looked at these through the tutorial, so I won't go through them because I'm sure by now anyone watching this will be aware of what roads we have. So we'll just go for a standard 2-lane road, and we will just check. One of the issues that I seem to have, and this might be the game, it might be me, it never seems to snap to the middle of roundabouts. So I believe you have to turn off, I think it's this one, snap zoning to cell length, which allows you to actually go to the centre of the roundabout and then build your road. So if we just make that 180 degrees, I'm a bit funny when it comes to straight lines. And these angles that are added to the roads that you can see in the black boxes, that's something that wasn't there before, or at least it wasn't that visible when you build roads on Skylines 1. So that's a very helpful addition to the game. So I am going to leave that off. I don't see the need for it right now. So we've built a straight road coming out of there, and ultimately what I want to do is build this as a curved road. I don't know where the curve should be, likely in the corner here, so we'll bring this back up, keep it at 180, maybe that point will be good, and then we'll connect this road, keep that at 180 if I can, and then we'll do the curved, simple curve road tool. Snap it in line with that one and join. So then we've got a nice curve going through this city, joining the main road, and we can build off of that. Now, ideally, I like to keep residential and commercial towards the water and industrial away from the water. That's going to be tricky with some of these buildings because, as you may know, we have to have a water source and we have to have electricity sources. Now, one of the main water sources which is new to the game is groundwater pumping. And as you can see, I've got reservoirs next to the water. So I'm going to have to build this station to utilise that because I don't want to put it near the edge just yet. And there's a big pool here, but we haven't unlocked the tile, so we'll keep this here initially, probably until this reserve gets used up, and we'll obviously have to build a road to it to supply electricity and water. So I'm going to build this just on the inside of the dark blue. Now, what I've noticed is as you move further outside of the dark blue with this building, the output starts reducing as you can see, very slowly. There, you get 52,000 cubic meters, and then it's slowly going down as you get further away. So we'll put it just in the middle of the dark blue there, and that's our water building. Then we have to have a sewage outlet. Now, the one problem with this map is the only option I've got is in the main lake. So I need to try and minimize where this impact's going to be. And I think the best place I've assessed is this little section here just on the corner, so we can try and keep it pooling into the corner rather than flowing all out into the river. So I'll put it just on the inside here, and then we have to connect the pipes. Now I believe you just need a sewage pipe here. I don't think you need a freshwater pipe either. And one of the issues I've found with this game is actually it's very difficult to connect these points. It doesn't seem to snap correctly. Although it looks like it snaps there, whenever I've done this before, I come back and it's not actually connected. So we'll try it again and see what happens. I don't know whether this is an issue with the game or it's an issue with me. But if you look, it keeps jumping in and out of being connected. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because of the elevation. I'm not aware of why it's doing that. So it's also, it seems to be going up to the top of the ground. Let's put the elevation down a little bit further. See if we can keep it underground. And I'll place it there. Now that looks like it's connected. You can see the little yellow pipe in between. So now if we connect this to our water station, just got to make sure we connect it to the right place. Which again, I don't see where this snaps to. It would seem as though it snaps to the blue pipe. But it's not. See, that this is where it's confusing because it doesn't look like it's actually connected properly. And again, it doesn't seem to be connecting. Let's bring the elevation up. It's very confusing because it looks like it's asking for a freshwater pipe. So where does the sewage go? Perhaps I need to do a dual pipe. Let's have a look. Let's just come off of this screen a second and see what we've got going on here. So it's asking for a road, which is fine. Let's just build a temporary road going up to this just to make sure that we the question is, does this need connection to the sewage? Which I was under the impression that it did. Sewage treatment, sewage export. That's just in general. Let me click on this building. Water output. That's a birch tree. That's the wrong thing. Let's zoom in. Efficiency 100%. So potentially what I could be getting wrong here is that the sewage pipe actually just needs to connect to one of the roads, which is now why, if I go back to this, even though it's still saying it's not connected to anything. But let's connect this road to that sewage pipe. There we go. So I may have made a mistake there. I think you actually need to connect it to the road rather than the building, which is again something new. So now that we've got the water out of the way, which was a struggle in itself, let's have a look at the electricity. And by far the cheapest option, which is suggested in the tutorial as well, is to have a transformer station and have the power lines coming over. So I want to keep the transformer station over in this area where the industrial side will live. I think we're going to keep it this side of the highway though. So if we put it just on the edge of this tile, and then I will place a dirt road just for now, which I believe the entrance is this side. And then we also need power lines to connect this. So the power lines, this is a bit of a problem. They come from the other side of the city, which I'm going to have to drag them all the way across, unless there's another way, but I'm not aware of it. So we have to bring them across the water, which I didn't want to do, and then over to, which I'm going to bring round the back of this transformer station, I think, and then connected. And that brings the electricity in. As you can see, it's now turned blue. Obviously these power lines look pretty ugly. It would be nice to maybe have some wind farms going, but that's going to be a bit more costly, so we're going to avoid that for now. With those two in place, we can start building roads how we want them to the city. The roundabout that they've suggested, I think I'm just going to see if I can place a roundabout. You can. So you can place a roundabout anywhere by the looks of it. I think my snapping is making that jump, but I don't want to have an exit so quickly after the highway. However, knowing how the game transports from other cities and how vehicles need to access and come back on, it might be wise to have this as a roundabout with 4 exits. So let's leave that for now. We can play around with that a bit later. So I'm going to bring a road out this way. We'll keep that at 90 degrees, and that will do for now. And then we will bring a road out this way as well, and we'll keep that at 90 degrees. There we go. So it looks like we're going to go off 4 ways. I don't want to have this in a grid section where it follows squares all the time, because that's pretty boring. So I'm going to try and experiment with some curved roads, which I did have selected actually, and I didn't realise. So for example, if we just use the tool to work out where the squares are going to be, I'm going to bring this road down and then begin to curve it round, but I want to bring it further actually. Now this is going to be a bit more tricky, because the curves that I want might need to be used with continuous, because then you can control the curves yourself. So let's try and bring this. I just need to work out the point at where it curves. So if we bring this back a little bit more, I'm actually going to bring the road straight to there. Then I'm going to curve it round until it gets flat, which is actually hard to see where that's There's so many angles on the screen. The only one that's changing is the top one. So what I might do is just select the straight road tool, put this in, make sure it's 90 degrees, and then try the curve tool. Let's see what that looks like. It's not perfect. I think that's because I've put this road in. So maybe if I just remove that road, let's try, and if I put it straight from here, what's this saying? That's slightly better. I know it's not going to be parallel to this line, but my idea is to have roads coming off and almost dead ends, but have other roads going into them. So we'll have almost like a cul-de-sac. I'm going to try and put roundabouts or circular roads at the end to make them proper cul-de-sacs, just to have a bit more of a residential feel. I might not do that here purely because we're going to have to build this up quite substantially, and I think I want to build a coastal road going around here. So let's see what we can make with this in the middle. I'm going to bring this road straight out because I think that's beneficial. And if we bring that road up there, we do the same opposite. Now some of these angles are a bit annoying because you can't really see where the line's snapping against the cells, but you see it almost looks like I've lost, even though there's 6 cells there, it still looks like I've lost some, but oh well. So we'll keep this going around. I don't know whether to do the same the other side yet, but I'm going to make a grid here. And also on this side. So we've got grid section. That side does look bigger actually. I think the reason that looks bigger is because it's on a hill. I don't think it's actually bigger in terms of cells, although this only has 5. It might be slightly bigger. We'll go with that for now. So this is probably going to need tidying up because this will bug me. It's not perfectly rounded and this road isn't straight. And I know some of you watching will be thinking, why are you paying so much attention to detail on the roads? But I know how much trouble I have when it comes to correcting mistakes rather than fixing them. Correcting them when they're full of houses and buildings and all different networks that you've set up, compared to doing it now when it's easiest. So that's a bit nicer. And I think what I'm going to do is bring this road out further. And I want to have the same curved road going all the way around, just for a different design. So I'm going to need to see how much I've come out from here. So I think I've just met the other end of now something has happened there and it's got stuck on the road. Let's come off of that. I don't know if that was a bug or something I pressed. For some reason it's not giving me this option anymore. Let's try. So it ends there and there. So it must come out of this section. And we'll stop it there for now. I think in theory that looks... I'm not going to be bothered about missing a square or two wherever it stands, as long as I can see that it looks visually the same, because it might be 1 or 2 squares less. Now the issue is trying to get this curve to match the same point. So we seem to have gone with a straight road, just 1 cell in from the top, so about there. And that's completely failed because that's, I think we're on a hill. Let's try this again. I wasn't paying attention to the angles of the road actually, so it might be my fault there. 180 degrees. There we go, that looks a bit better. And where did this end? The curve started, I think it was just on top. So we join that road and then the continuous curve. There we go. It's not the most perfect curve by the looks of things. This one seems to be a much better curve, but I think looking here we have a downhill portion. The terrain looks slightly less, so that could be what's causing that. And I'm not sure whether to do this the same the other way around. It might... In fact, I am going to do the same the other way around. Why not? It makes it look nicer. So we'll bring this out to level with that one. This one was level. Make sure it's 90 degrees, which for some reason... There we go. It was just snapping off. And this one we had was just 1 square above the actual top. So if we build this just at that point, it should stay 1 above. And then something seems off here. It seems, yeah, I haven't built the road all the way across. So how far did we do it again? That's where the curve starts. I think it was 1 square over. It was just 1 square over the back. So if we bring this across to there, and we do the same on the other side. When I'm saying 1 square across, I'm using the white circles on the road to measure the distance. I should have made that clear really, because it doesn't make sense just saying that. So if we bring this in line, we have the curved road there. This one in line, we have the curved road there. So now we have almost like a town square such. Now we could save this and have some various important buildings in the middle, but I think given the fact that I've only got a small tile, I want to start getting the residential areas in. I am going to bring this road up just a bit more. I'm going to bring a dirt road to this just for now so workers can access it, and the same with this just for the time being, and then we can start building residential. Now, obviously, I've only got low density housing available, and I'm going to try to build this where I leave gaps for commercial and some important buildings later on, because I don't like removing buildings once you've built them, especially houses and such. So let's think about this. I want to also leave the opportunity for roads. I think we're going to leave this road closed off, so I'm going to put residential areas around the outside of this. Not here, I don't want those as soon as right next to the highway, even though these are, but I plan to put some trees and maybe another road going around the back that has sound barriers in. We'll put some residential on the inside here, and also on the inside of these two areas, and then we will also do the same on this side, just to fill in the gaps. Now I've noticed how that's completely filled in that gap, so we will remove those just for now. I don't want to build up too much just in case I need these spaces for something else. So I'm going to press play on the game, and then hopefully we're going to start construction on the properties. As you can see, we have a little crane developing. I'm trying to move too fast there. As some of you are aware, there are various performance issues with the game, so keep that in mind if we encounter any problems. I am running at 60 FPS at the moment, but you never know what could happen. It seems like these construction workers are taking their time. I don't know how long it takes for them to build. And electricity is not meeting demand apparently, so let's have a look. Electricity availability 0. Is the electricity connected? It would seem as though the electricity is connected. So why is the availability, unless the houses need to be built first in order to conduct the electricity? We'll monitor that. I'm sure the people that move in will let us know that they're unhappy and they're going to move out because we've not gave them what they need, electricity. Commercial. Now I think we're going to put some commercial zones in the centre here. Potentially in this centre. Let's try this centre for now. I like the idea of having residential around the outside and having some commercial in the middle. It's almost like you have the suburbs and then the offices in the centre, even though they're not offices, but this will come at a later stage when we get to build the actual busy districts with offices and high-rise buildings, which at the moment, looking at this map, I'm not sure where we're going to place that. But the idea here, if I just come off of this screen while they build, is to maybe have some grids and various streets going around this area. I am going to have a coastal road. So I know I've seen videos of people building key walls. There's a hack that you do where you have to lower the terrain, build on a certain level, and it builds a nice wall on the edge. I'm not going to do that just purely because it's time consuming, and I like the idea more of having a road that conforms to the land. So we're going to have the curved road tool that's just freeform, and I'm going to have curved roads all around the outside of this island. Potentially the others as well, I'm not sure, just to avoid sticking to the grids that you see everyone do so much. I want to stray away from that building style, and given that we're in European theme, very rarely do you come across European towns and cities that are built in grids. That's a very Americanized thing, and especially in some parts of Europe, you won't find a straight road for miles unless it's one of the old ones that the Romans built. So we do need some construction zones. So I am actually going to focus on developing this area a little bit more. I'm not going to upgrade this road, I'm actually going to destroy it. And I've just caused panic amongst the citizens because we've removed their power supply. So I'm going to pause the time for a minute just while I navigate this. I think we're going to have a road coming off this way, and then I want to have it just behind this electricity station, and we will make this a kind of grid where there's going to be some commercial industry zone, sorry. Now, it's a good idea to have the industry zone fairly close to the commercial zone and the residential zone. Some people build them miles away, which I would rather do because it doesn't look pleasant having it next to your nice green city where everyone wants to live. But in terms of traffic and keeping productivity amongst the city going, I think it's best to have it close by. And for that, we're going to keep it close to the highway so they can access easily. I might even eventually build slip roads on from these sections, but that will come later anyway. Now, I don't like leaving green spaces, so I'm going to build an extra section here, and also one here. That gives us some extra sections to build in. I've made the roads a little bit different so we don't have the same. We'll jump back over here and press play, so they should get their electricity back. And we will jump to industry, and I will build those on the inside of this section. That will do for now, because as you can see down the bottom here, the demand is very high for residents, but it's very low for everything else. Now, given that this has taken 30 minutes just to build this one section, it's now wise to go and build some more of these roads out further and start expanding until we unlock tiles to start building out further. So I'm just going to have a look. I haven't seen the citizens actually. Let's have a look at the houses and see what they look like. They seem like very nice houses. We've got a hot tub and a fire pit in there, or a plunge pool. Same in that house. These must be the wealthier citizens that work at the one power station we have. They look nice houses, they look like. Commercial buildings are being constructed. I like having this little shopping area in the middle. It's quite convenient. Maybe not so much for the people that live opposite, but if you don't have to drive, you save on gas, I guess. Now, I don't think I've built anything here, so I'm going to leave that section for now, just in case. I want to build a grid behind this house, which I just think that's possible. 90 degrees? No, we're just going to miss out, so I'm going to drop a cell back just so we can keep that straight. And we'll probably do the same as before. on the other side. I'm not trying to mimic the other side, but let's just pause for a second. We'll get rid of those, and I want to build a road around. Let's keep that at 90 degrees. And we have a nice curve in the road there. Then it's hard to see with all these flashing notifications. I think that's the start of the building, so we'll build a straight road across there. And I forgot we connected that sewage pipe underneath, and I think that's been destroyed in... Let's just turn this camera around. Now again, this is where it's very confusing. I don't know whether I have to adjust the elevation to be able to connect these pipes, because to me that looks connected, but if I turn the camera around, oh, it still looks connected actually. Nope, it's not. See, this is the confusing part. It doesn't seem to snap to where it connects. Let's go to underground mode here. I'm going to remove that and we'll try again. That's one thing I think could... People might disagree. I think it needs... That works. That's not the prettiest of design. I think that needs fixing because it's very complex to see. I think it needs more... Maybe if the camera... I think you can adjust the camera, but if it automatically dropped below ground so you could see the connections a bit more clearly, or just if it was highlighted a bit better. So, do we want another grid opposite? That's the question. I think let's bring this road a bit further up. And I'm going to put a roundabout at the end, just in case. It's going to be a three-way roundabout, just in case people want to come back on themselves. And what we will do, let's just see the road types. 3-lane, one-way, an alley, a narrow 2-lane road without sidewalks, a street where only foot traffic is allowed. Do we want a street with only foot traffic around the edge of the water? I think the 2-lane road allows foot traffic as well, so I might stick to the 2-lane road. Now, I'm unsure on how to go around this area. I think we might bring it back to that section actually. Let's try this. So I want to conform into... We're getting a bit wavy now. Let's move up a bit. So as you can see, I think it's built, which I think is quite cool. It's built a little barrier almost, if we just zoom in there, where there's a drop off to the cliff. And rather than having key walls all around and destroying the terrain, I think it's good to have the windy road in and out. The only challenge is going to be, like it is here, bringing this... Let's see what that looks like. I think we're going to need to use a mixture of straight roads and curved roads, so I know this looks a bit odd, but trust the process. And I'm saying trust the process, but I've never built this many curved roads before, so there's not much really you can trust in that. So what I want to do is join it up to this road. And again, I'm going to put a roundabout in. And let's see if we just, I don't like the way that looks. Let's try a regular curved road. So that looks horrendous with all the squares on and everything, but let's remove the road. I mean, it does look bad, I'm not going to lie. But let's just have a look how this road, I think I may have to, let's play around with the terrain here. So let's level the terrain now. I am terrible at using this, so let's, I think you have to select a point to use, and then you level the terrain, which it looks like it's doing. I don't know what's happening quite so much there. Let's bring this up just a little bit. Now I'm actually going to leave it like that because out of no intention whatsoever, I actually think that's quite cool. It's almost like a little canyon you drive through, so people can drive. And what I will add trees and various things along the side here just to make it look nicer. I don't know why this road is dipping. I have brought the, let me just remove this bit of the road. It seems to, let's try this now and see what this does. Let's see what that's done. That looks a lot flatter. But I think I'm going to leave it there, and then in the next one, next episode, we will try and solve this problem and start building out more of the residential area. So if you can support, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.